LDBC, this is your boy Coach Sheldon Harrison. You're live on the Coach Sheldon Harrison Combat Sports Show Live. I put up this collage of photographs, you know, and guys, I've been having to do a lot of videos from my phone, so forgive me. But I put this up, and I was having a conversation with a gymnast. And, you know, this gymnast, in the wake of Larry Nassar, this gymnast actually, you know, saw one of my videos. And so, you know, she started following me on social media, Facebook, and, you know, just started asking me, you know, hey, just a lot of questions, you know, like, Coach, you seem like your channel was a boxing channel, then you went to women's MMA. And she was just wanting to know why, because she saw a video about my story. And if those of you don't know my story, I'm going to make a long story short. You know, my story is, you know, of course, I'm a coach. I'm a coach, and people are like, man, you're a coach? Well, what do you coach? You know, I'm a coach. And, you know, I had a young female athlete a couple of years ago who she used to have all this money, you know, pulling out 20s and 50s in a big old wad. And I used to be like, where's she getting all this money from, you know? And so, you know, it's not uncommon for me to take kids home. And I take about 2 or 3 of them home at a time. And I used to always drop her off, you know, and everybody in the car would be like, where's she going? Because she would kind of be wandering around. And then you would tell, you know, she would watch to see, you know, when I was leaving. And then she would hurry off in a direction. I'm like, where's she going? So after a while, after about a week of her doing that, because her parents, for some reason, they could never get her. And then, you know, I found out that she was catching the bus late at night. So I was like, nah, you can't catch the bus home, you know. Because, you know, hard-working athlete, you know, wanted to train. And I said, nah, you know, I'll just drop you off. You know, you can ride with me and so-and-so. And, you know, we can drop you off. That's fine, you know. So there was no problems. But then, you know, one day I dropped off and I said, you know, let me see where she's going. And make a long story short, I followed her into a drug house. And, you know, come to find out, man, one of the most dangerous drug houses in the city, man. Now, I didn't know this, you know. And so when I walked up to the door, this was crazy, man. I said, you know, hey, I came to get so-and-so. What you want with that piece of garbage? I said, well, I don't think she's a piece of garbage, but she got to go to school tomorrow. And then dude immediately pulled out a gun. He said, man, you need to leave. If you don't, I'm going to put one in you. I said, well, okay, I'll leave after she, you know, I got to take her to school tomorrow. And he looked at me and didn't do recognize. He said, wait a minute, man. He said, yo, man, didn't you used to come to the neighborhood, man, and pick up like 3 or 4 kids at a time, take them to the gym and work with them, man, on weightlifting and boxing and track and field? I said, yeah, man, that's me. He said, yo, man, I remember you picked me up a couple of times. And I didn't remember. You picked me up a couple of times, but, man, my sister got a scholarship working with you, you know? My big brother, man, you know, he went and played basketball in community college for a couple of years, you know. And then so-and-so wrestled. He was telling me all these kids that did all these things. I'm like, man. So we sat back, okay? We sat back and we chatted for about 2 minutes. And then he looked up. He said, Coach, he said, man, I don't do this. He said, man, he said, take her and go. He said, because if I see you again running around here, man, he said, I'm going to put one in you. I said, okay, it's like that. He said, yeah, man, just take it and go. So she came down and said, Coach, what are you doing? I said, come on, get your stuff. And so, you know, after that, you know, we, you know, made sure that she finished high school and she went off to college and, you know, she got a full scholarship in track and field and, you know, it's working. But see, the reason why I bring that story up, because abuse don't have a face, y'all. Abuse, sexual abuse, none of that stuff, guys, it don't have a face. You don't know. See, this girl had been sexually abused, and, you know, at the age, even though she was tricking, and most of the time she was consenting, it's still abuse, you know? And I guarantee you, you know, and she told me even a couple of times where they would have tricks in there, man, just, you know, feeling all on her, man. And some days, you know, she'd just be in there. It's crazy, man. The story was sad, real sad. But, you know, I say this because she kept a straight face. She trained hard. Every time I saw her, that, you know, you couldn't tell there was an issue. One day she broke down, one day. And, but she said it was a family problem, but I know it was because of all the tricking. But, that was it. The time before I figured all this stuff out, for the 8 or 9 months, I had no idea this kid was actually tricking dudes. So, you know, I'm sitting here like, oh man, okay. So here go the thing, man. Here go the thing. Abuse don't have a face. You don't know when it's happening. Like parents, kids can be right now getting abused up under their parents' nose and their parents don't even know. So you're not gonna know unless they decide to tell you. That's just how it is. So now you look at this right here. Look at Bela, Karolyi, Larry Nassar, all these idiots here up on the screen. And you see all these women on the screen that's really coming out and saying this stuff. And you have some dumb people when I'm looking at the research, because I was talking to this gymnast, man. And she was really, you know, impressed by my story and just You know, I don't really keep up with combat sports, but I'm gonna follow you because I like what you're talking. You know, it was a good thing. We talking. And so, you know, I said, you know, whenever you want to come on and, you know, just share your story, she said, Coach, in due time, I will. And this somebody, she done already came out against Larry Nassar. And I won't say her name, and I told her I wouldn't say her name, but she said, you know, hey, I just want to hear your thoughts on this. So I couldn't say no. I had to say yeah. She said, I really want to hear what you think. And, you know, in coaching, there are levels of coaching. You got the coach that's ineffective, that they are a complete pushover. You know, the athletes run over the coach, and the athletes tell you what they're going to do. You know, that's that coach. Then you got the coach that's kind of in the middle. You know, they're tough, but then they can back off sometimes. And you know, sometimes that coach is not, it's going to be a good coach. You might get results out of him. The first coach, you definitely ain't getting no results. Second coach, you might get results. Because they're gonna make adjustments to the person, you know, instead of like making everybody rise to the same level. They might let person A, you know, underachieve here because they just got these issues. And now you got the last coach who, they don't care what you got going on. Okay, if you're here in my time, then you are gonna have to perform. Okay, there is no wasting time. That coach, you know. And you got the fourth coach who, they will 100% get results. You see, coaches 3 and 4, they get results. But coach number 4, he's a good coach, but he's dangerous because he's oblivious to the world. He or she is oblivious to the world. That's Bela Karolyi. They're completely oblivious to what's going on in the world. They don't care. If you break your arm, guess what Bela Karolyi gonna tell you? Oh, well, I guess you got another arm. I mean, go out there and use your other arm. I bet that arm works just fine. I mean, that's what he's gonna say. They don't care about your personal issues. They don't care about what you got going on in life. All they want to know is, can you go out there and compete? That's it. And, you know, but then the reason why I say this is because young girls, when they look at coaches, and, you know, most of these girls that's testifying, you know, a lot of them do have dad issues, that they see things in their dad. They see things in these coaches that they wish they would see in their dads. Like, honestly, I mean, I've coached for a number of years. And, you know, when you're a strong alpha male coach, like when you just tell them, look, this is what you're doing. I don't care about that. Just do what I told you to do. You know, they respond to that. Not like you telling them what to do or making them do stuff, but when you just put your foot down. With girls, that work. Now, with some guys, you know, they maybe want to be combative and argumentative, and then, you know, I got to go in there and I got to take them down a couple of times. But with the girls, they like a coach that's going to put their foot down, and they respect that kind of coach. The thing of it is, though, is that if you're that kind of coach, you also have to understand at certain points at a time that there are females. And I think Bela Karolyi just don't understand that they really females. He don't understand. And see, when you talk to this guy, when you look at him, you can tell this guy done, you know, had a hard life, you know, growing up and trying to get the way he is. You know, he done had a tough life. His wife is just as cold. These Russian women, man, or wherever they from over there, they don't care. They cold as ice. They do not care. They'll tell you about yourself. They'll tell you, hey, your breath stink. Go get a man. And then they'll keep it moving. They don't think they're hurt. But see, that's the problem with Bela Karolyi. You're going to get results with Bela Karolyi. You're going to be the best. But see, now do you have to deal with the fact that he don't care about you as a person? He probably got 1 or 2 athletes that he probably really did care about. Maybe 1 or 2. But that's about it. This guy don't keep people on. He don't get his emotions wrapped up in these athletes. But now, out of all these kids that's been in that camp, not one girl came to him and said, hey, you know what? This going on. I think 1 did. You know, and then people say, well, what these girls, you know, what these girls just didn't say nothing then? Because when you're a little kid, man, you're trying to go to the Olympics. You know, your parents, they spending all this doggone cash trying to get you out there. It's expensive, man. And then you just say, well, the coach touching me inappropriately. And, you know, you 13 and 14 and you just don't know how to come to that, man. You don't know what to say. Like, you don't know what to say. You don't know how you gonna, like, you might think that you're gonna be like the hoe or whatever, man. I mean, you don't know how to respond. And it's a bad situation to put a little kid in because they really want to tell it. But if they tell it, you know, they go to Olympics. And the parents, most of the time, some of them don't even know that this is going on. They don't know. They don't have an idea. Some parents now, they probably know the reputation and just didn't care. Well, we got to go to the Olympics. Now, you got them kind of parents that they bad parents. But I think the majority of these parents, they probably didn't know. I mean, if it were me, I wouldn't send my daughter halfway across the country. And I can't see what's going on. I can't, communicate, because Bela, they strict, man. You couldn't talk to your parents. You had to hug your parents after the meet was over. You couldn't talk to them. They couldn't say, yo, it was like a concentration camp, man. And that kind of strictness is crazy. Now, you're going to get results. You will get results. But comes at a price. Comes at a price. See, he's one of them strict coaches that you're going to hate, or you just going to like, and you just going to do it. And you know what, though? Guys like Bela Karolyi, they don't like worrying about athlete problems. They don't like that stuff. Somebody told him, and he probably told him, no, it's just his job. Probably didn't care. They turned the eye to this, man. And this is bad. This is bad. You turn a blind eye to, what's going on. Your athlete come to you, they explain to you, hey, this is what's going on. And I know somebody, you can't tell me that Bela and Marta Karolyi didn't know what was going on. They did. They knew, or they've been hearing the allegations, and they just chose to ignore it and keep running their camp. That's what they do. That's how they operate. They've been like this for years, man. I mean, look, Mary Lou Retton, or was it Carrie Strug? I can't remember. Darn girl couldn't even have walk. You saw Bela Karolyi over there like, okay, come on, let's go and get back up there. Come on, let's tough this out. He didn't care she was limping. Now, he helped her off. I think it was her, Mary Lou Retton. You guys, y'all know the history, but y'all know what I'm talking about. I mean, he helped her off. He helped her get off the stage. That's what he did. But, nah, he ain't help on that stage. Bela was like, nah, you need to get in there and go. But that's how they wired. That's why they get the results. But the thing of it is, though, at what cost? See, now, because they were so results driven, instead of actually taking time out to say, okay, what's going on? To really understand, like, these are some serious problems. This guy, Larry Nassar, man, this dude for 29 years was allowed to molest and really do things to these little girls. He was allowed for years to do so. And he been getting away with it, man. He been getting away with it for all these years. And now, at the wake of it, everybody coming out. And now this is going to put a poop stain on Bela Karolyi. It's going to put a poop stain on them, because you know why? Because they're losing money. They ain't finna have the championships. They ain't finna be a top training center anymore. But I think people who still believe in the Karolyis, they're still going to come anyway. They're still going to come to that gym. Because some people, they just not going to believe the accusations. They ain't going to believe none of them. And they going to still come, okay? But here go the thing of it is, man. See, how do you know a good coach and a bad coach? And how do you know who to trust? Because these people, man, they wasn't doing background checks. They wasn't doing any of that. You know what they were doing? Just sending their kids there because of a reputation. The reputation is good. And that never happened to this kid. And all these champions, they be on TV. And some of these parents get caught up in the limelight. And you know how dumb it is, man? Because now, these allegations, all these abusers, all these... You know what? These girls, they never going to recover from this. You know that? Never. It's going to be a long time. They never going to recover. They're going to always be fearful of having a relationship. They might have kids, but they're not going to put their kids in programs. They ain't going to do any of that. You know what they're going to do? They're going to sit back, and they're going to always look over their shoulder, wondering, just what in the heck, I don't want my kid doing what happened to me. That's what's going to happen. And if they do let their kids do anything, they're going to be right there, which I don't blame them. I can't blame them. I would never blame them for that. But, I don't feel bad for the Karolyis. I don't feel bad for them because they knew the stuff was going on. They knew the stuff was going on. They knew what was happening. They knew, but they chose to ignore it. And this is exactly what this looks like. They knew, man, because you can't be a gym that big and you not know that one of your doctors, and you know what? This stuff, these allegations been going on for so long, is that, man,
Good morning.
Yo, what's up? How you doing? Good. These allegations been going on for so long is that the USA gymnastics, they chose to ignore it. The guy still had to work. Michigan State, where the dude worked at, they chose to ignore it. And so now it's like, oh, well, all of these people ignored it. They were okay with this guy doing this stuff. And there'll be some of you that come to the video and thumb it down because you're okay with it. You're okay with it, and that's okay. You can be okay with it, but I'm not. Good. This guy finna get 125 years. 125 years. Man, good. I'm glad they came out. So for the stupid people that, why they didn't come out in the first place? Because abuse victims are embarrassed, man. They're embarrassed. Well, that's just the way that is. This is your boy, Coach Shelton Harris, and I'm done. What are you guys waiting on? Subscribe to the best women's MMA platform on YouTube.